Paul Heyman betrays Seth Rollins for Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman are secretly working together. Another Jey Uso botch delays the finish on Raw. Why Jey Uso abandoned Jimmy Uso on WWE Raw. Drew McIntyre was originally pitched for a WWE Championship win, but it was rejected. Why CM Punk and AJ Lee missed WWE Raw after Wrestlepalooza. SmackDown viewership season increase. Why Asuka and Kairi Sane turned heel on Sky. The WWE accidentally spoiled the result of Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel. The WWE is wasting a tailor-made opponent for Cody Rhodes. Let's dive right in. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman are secretly working together. The WWE Raw episode right after Wrestlepalooza wrapped with a brutal twist as Asuka and Kairi Sane turned on Sky. It all blew up after Asuka and Rhea Ripley battled in the main event, and the genius of the Sky jumped in to save Mommy. The Empress of Tomorrow wrecked Sky and even made Kairi join the attack. On top of that, Jey Uso's story took a sharp turn too. Here's 6 sneaky signals WWE slipped in on the red brand after Wrestlepalooza. Number 1, Jey Uso's dark side incoming. Week by week, WWE keeps planting clues for Jey Uso's villain shift. On this Raw, the Yeet Master squared off against LA Knight in a one-on-one fight. Normally, a good guy wouldn't steal a win off a cheap distraction, but when the Vision crashed the party, Jey grabbed the chaos and nailed the megastar for the pin. After the bell, Jimmy Uso pushed his brother to pull Knight out of the Vision's beatdown, but Jey blew it off. This fresh edge in the Yeet Master's game screams his bad guy flip is right around the corner. Number 2, Dominic Mysterio's Judgment Day exit looms. Dominic Mysterio's already flashing red flags about ditching the Judgment Day. On Raw, J.D. McDonough tangled with Rusev in a heated match. The Bulgarian Brute locked in a submission to win, then kept pounding J.D. after. Dirty Dom stood right there on the apron, but held back from helping his crew until Finn Balor rushed in for the rescue. Even then, Balor ripped into Dom at ringside for hanging back. The IC Champion's moves make it clear he's easing away from the Judgment Day and won't stick around much longer on Monday Night Raw. Number 3, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman plotting in shadows. Byron Saxton grilled Paul Heyman on Raw about hyping Brock Lesnar and their current tie-up with the Beast, but the Oracle fired back with a quick yes before flipping to how Rollins crushes Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel. Dodging the Lesnar question like that? It's a dead giveaway he's scheming with the mayor of Suplex City and keeping their full game plan under wraps from everyone. Number 4, Rhea Ripley and Sky versus Kabuki Warriors at Crown Jewel. Raw's close this week screams WWE's lining up a monster tag team war at Crown Jewel. With Asuka and Kairi Sane flipping heel on Sky, she'll likely link arms with Rhea Ripley for payback. That double cross sets the stage for WWE to drop the big reveal. Sky and Ripley against the Kabuki Warriors for the next premium live event. Number 5, no more Cena-Lesnar clashes. Brock Lesnar demolished John Cena at Wrestlepalooza for the clean sweep. The Beast trashed the franchise player's farewell run, owning him start to finish. Lots figured WWE might cook up a rematch for these old warhorses, but that's not playing out. On the Raw after the Indianapolis show, 0 teases for another Cena versus Lesnar go-round. Instead, they hyped the Lesnar-Heyman hookup. Plus, the last real champion floated about with AJ Styles on X. All these quiet nods lock in that Brock and Cena's legendary beef stays buried. Number 5, Jey Uso hungers for Cody's gold. WWE didn't just tease Jey Uso's heel slide, they quietly locked in his itch for the undisputed WWE Championship too. Cody Rhodes hit Monday Night Raw and chatted backstage with the Yeet Master. Through the whole talk, fans caught Jey staring hard at the undisputed championship, way more locked in on the belt than Rhodes himself. That says WWE's already tilling the ground for a Rhodes versus Jey title showdown on the red brand. Another Jey Uso botch delays the finish on Raw. Jey Uso scored a huge win on WWE Raw this week, but it came with a little help and a messy mistake that threw off the match's end. Things were heated for Jey after his rough loss at Wrestlepalooza 2025, where a scary moment left folks thinking he might have been concussed. This week, Jey popped up in a couple of backstage bits on Raw. One had him clashing hard with his brother Jimmy, while another showed him eyeing the WWE Championship a bit too closely during a friendly pep talk from Cody Rhodes, who was visiting the red brand. Later, Jey went toe-to-toe with LA Knight in a heated grudge match. There was no love between them, and when the Vision jumped in, Jey gladly took their backup to seal the victory. But the finish got sloppy. Jey didn't pin Knight's shoulders down clean, forcing the ref to hold off the count for a few seconds. Right after, the Vision swarmed LA Knight again, and Jimmy Uso stood at the ramp, calling out Jey for not stepping in to stop the beatdown. Jey, still sour on the megastar, just walked off. Jimmy grabbed a steel chair and charged the ring himself, spooking the Vision enough to back off, with Paul Heyman telling Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed to save their punches for another time. Jimmy's clearly not thrilled with how his brother's been acting lately. Why Jey Uso abandoned Jimmy Uso on WWE Raw. The Usos have been on edge lately, with Jey Uso dropping heavy hints of a villainous switch on Raw. The twins teamed up to take on Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed at Wrestlepalooza, with LA Knight refereeing the big tag match. After some clashes between Knight and Jey, the Usos ate a tough loss at the Premium Live event. On this week's Raw, Jey went head-to-head with LA Knight in a grudge match, and the build-up showed cracks between the Usos themselves. Cody Rhodes tried to cool things off with a chat, but Jey kept leaning into his darker side. Jey snagged the win over Knight, cashing in on a distraction from the Vision, who then tried to swarm the megastar after the bell. Jimmy Uso ran out with a steel chair to back Knight up, prompting Paul Heyman to pull the Vision back. But while Jimmy stepped in, Jey bailed, heading backstage and leaving everyone stunned. Fans are buzzing about why the former World Heavyweight Champion left his own brother hanging. Let's break down a few reasons that might explain Jey's move. Jey's been building bad blood with LA Knight for weeks, and it's clear they're far from friendly. With their feud heating up, Jey might want nothing to do with Knight's fights anymore. Jimmy rushing out to help the megastar could have pushed Jey to ditch his brother on Raw. Main event. Jey seems ready to shake off the storyline with the Vision after their big Wrestlepalooza loss, likely done tangling with the group. The Vision made a move on LA Knight, circling him, but Jey stayed clear of the chaos. That could be why he chose to sit out whatever might have gone down. Roman Reigns built his legend by staying above the fray during his undisputed WWE Universal Championship run, letting his cousins handle the ring work while he rarely jumped in. Jey might be walking that same road now, letting Jimmy deal with the action. If Jimmy ends up in real trouble, Jey could swoop in to flip the script and save the day. With Jey teasing a heel turn week after week on Raw, this could be the perfect setup for why he let Jimmy handle things solo. We'll see what WWE's cooking up next for these stars. Drew McIntyre was originally pitched for a WWE Championship win, but it was rejected. Drew McIntyre was set to take down Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship, but the big plan fell apart. A new report from Bodyslam.net on their Patreon dropped that, going into Wrestlepalooza, McIntyre was pitched to beat Rhodes and claim the top title. Even Rhodes backed the idea, but as anyone who caught the Premium Live event saw, it didn't go down like that. McIntyre crashed and burned after a Claymore sent him smashing through a desk, tweaking his leg. Bodyslam spilled that both Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre pushed a storyline where Randy Orton would show up, screw over his pal Rhodes, and hand McIntyre the championship. That would have kicked off a heel turn for Orton, sparking a fiery feud with Rhodes, but the whole pitch got nixed. Cody Rhodes held firm, beating McIntyre to keep the title, and Randy Orton was a no-show. No word yet on whether WWE might dust off this idea for another show, but for now, it's a bust. McIntyre was gunning to end Rhodes' championship run with a Claymore through a table. A ref got in his way though, and that split-second pause threw him off. By the time he shoved the ref aside and went for it, Rhodes dodged, leaving McIntyre to crash his leg through the table. That slip-up was the opening Rhodes needed, pouncing to win and walk out with the gold. With McIntyre nursing a banged-up leg, it's anyone's guess what WWE has lined up for him next. Why CM Punk and AJ Lee missed WWE Raw after Wrestlepalooza. WWE Raw after Wrestlepalooza packed in some standout moments. The night wrapped with Asuka and Kairi Sane double-crossing Sky, but AJ Lee and CM Punk were nowhere to be seen on the red brand. The best in the world and the ex-Divas champion beat Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch at Wrestlepalooza 2025. Their skip from the Raw after the Premium Live event has left everyone scratching their heads. WWE Crown Jewel 2025 is the company's next big event, and it's locked in that the Visionary faces Cody Rhodes for the WWE Crown Jewel Championship. After Punk and Lee toppled Lynch and Rollins at Wrestlepalooza, they could line up for a title crack soon. With that in mind, the Stamford outfit might have parked them on the shelf for a couple weeks, zeroing in on Rollins versus Rhodes instead of Seth versus Punk. That could explain why CM Punk and AJ Lee ghosted Monday Night Raw this time. Another angle on AJ Lee and CM Punk's Raw absence might be that Triple H hasn't nailed down their next steps post-Wrestlepalooza. Reports say the company is all in on hyping Crown Jewel, so the creative squad may not have anything queued for the power duo yet. That could have led the King of Kings to leave them off the red brand, landing us their no-show. CM Punk's already billed for the next WWE Raw at the Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. So, if the voice of the voiceless shows next week, it points to just a one-week breather after Wrestlepalooza causing his Raw dip. As of now, AJ Lee isn't listed for that card, but lineups shift all the time. If the ex-Divas champion pops up next week, it might spark some wild plots. All in all, it's wide open how their tale plays out in the weeks ahead, and what's cooking for the Second City Saint and the Trailblazer on Raw. SmackDown viewership season increase. The September 19th, 2025 episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown packed in some killer moments. Brock Lesnar smashed Corey Graves with two F5s and left him wrecked. No surprise, the show pulled in more eyes. WrestleNomics reports the September 19th, 2025 edition of WWE Friday Night SmackDown on USA Network hit an average of 1.342 million viewers. That's a 2% jump from the 1.316 million who tuned in on September 12th, 2025. This small uptick points to steady draw from SmackDown's top tails. In the Key P 18-49 group, SmackDown scored a 0.37 rating, matching last week's 0.37. Plus, SmackDown jumped from second to first in cable rankings this week. The episode had plenty of standout spots, like Brock Lesnar crushing Corey Graves with those two F5s. Graves stepped up to shield Michael Cole from Lesnar and took the full hit. Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes also locked in their contract for the undisputed WWE title match, with the Scottish Warrior dropping Rhodes and owning the close. Why Asuka and Kairi Sane turned heel on Sky. Tensions had been simmering on Raw for weeks between Asuka, Sky, Kairi Sane, and Rhea Ripley, and it all exploded when the Kabuki Warriors turned on their longtime friend after the main event. Sane, though hesitant, joined Asuka's orders to ambush both Sky and Ripley. This brutal character flip finally shattered one of the last bonds from the broken Damage Control crew. While it could have been Ripley turning on Sky, one big reason was WWE wanting to keep Rhea Ripley as a fan favorite. Mommy's one of WWE's biggest names, loved by crowds even when she ran with the villainous Judgment Day. With the way things shook out with Sky and the Kabuki Warriors, either Ripley or Asuka had to go bad guy. Given Mommy's massive fan base, the call was made to turn Asuka heel. Since both Sky and Stephanie Baker are crowd darlings, the creative team needed strong heels to challenge whoever won the Women's World Championship at Wrestlepalooza. Naomi's Money in the Bank cash-in at Evolution 2025 shook up the division, but her pregnancy forced a quick pivot after she stepped away. Raw's got fan favorites like Lyra Valkyria, Sky, Ripley, Baker, and, until recently, Asuka and Sane. With a fan favorite champ back in play, a big name had to turn heel. Asuka got in La Primera's face backstage earlier that night, laying tracks for a heel versus face clash down the line. Face versus face bouts can click, but Baker needs real villains to boost her star power. Becky Lynch's heel turn on Valkyria helped lift her with fans. Another straightforward reason for Asuka and Sane's betrayal of Sky is to set up a blockbuster tag team match at Crown Jewel. The show's hitting Perth, and Rhea, Australia's biggest WWE star, needs a spot on the card. Since she's not gunning for the Women's World Championship yet, the bookers found another way to feature her. Ripley's got history with Sky, both as rivals and partners, going back to their NXT days. Pairing them up gives the Kabuki Warriors a tough fight. The winners might even get a crack at the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship afterward. The bigger picture behind Asuka and Kairi turning on Sky is to build toward a one-on-one showdown between the two ex-champions. Asuka and the Genius of the Sky have racked up titles across WWE, but fans haven't seen them truly go at it in a string of matches. They were tight as Damage Control allies, and even after the group fell apart last year, they stayed close on Raw. They could have fought as friends in a friendly competition like wrestlers sometimes do, but this heel turn sets a clear line. Fans know who to cheer for and who to boo when that big match hits. The WWE accidentally spoiled the result of Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel. After their epic showdowns at WWE Wrestlepalooza, Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes head into Crown Jewel in Perth as world champions, set to battle for the Men's Crown Jewel Championship. Fans are hyped for the clash between these two titans at the premium live event. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes go way back. The Visionary was Rhodes' first big rival when he returned to WWE, and their feud laid the groundwork for the American Nightmare's rise to the top. But in pushing Rhodes to glory, Rollins dropped all three matches against him, sparking heated debates. While Rollins played a key role in helping Rhodes become the undisputed WWE champion at WrestleMania 40, he's also one of Rhodes' fiercest foes. On this week's Raw, the two stood toe-to-toe, with the undisputed WWE champion bringing up his clean 3-0 record over the Visionary. That mention of the record feels like a big clue that WWE's handing the win to Rollins. The Visionary's been on a blazing run with the Vision, clawing his way back to the industry's peak. With the role he's on, Rollins snagging the victory at Crown Jewel makes perfect sense for WWE right now. A win would not only mark his first triumph over Cody Rhodes, but also boost his character and cement his spot as a top dog in wrestling. We'll soon see what WWE's got cooking for him next. The American Nightmare and the Visionary were tight allies during the WrestleMania 40 build-up, even teaming up against Roman Reigns and The Rock on the biggest stage. But off-screen, they also pulled double duty one night as WWE event producers. Cody Rhodes spilled the tale on his recent What Do You Want to Talk About podcast, saying a snowstorm kept the regular producers away, so he and Rollins stepped up to run the show. "We had a show to do, and remember, no producers. It was me and Seth. We were producers, and it was a show that had a commission, so we actually had to do work. It wasn't like, hey, you're good. We know your match. Hey, 12 minutes. None of that. That was all pretty much." The WWE is wasting a tailor-made opponent for Cody Rhodes. After crushing Drew McIntyre at WWE Wrestlepalooza, Cody Rhodes lines up for another clash with Seth Rollins. But inside sources feel WWE's creative team is missing a golden matchup. The overlooked rival is Rusev, who's been scrapping with JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio lately. Inside sources say the Bulgarian Brute could be an ideal foe for the American Nightmare if WWE gave him a real push. The veteran sketched out a fast track for Rusev to climb the ladder and turn into a real danger to Cody. On Legion of Raw, inside sources laid it out. Bro, what if they would have bought Rusev back in? He would have went on a run up until now. That would have definitely been a formidable opponent for Cody Rhodes. You get Rusev with Dominic Mysterio? I mean, all you had to do was give him win after win after win after win. God forbid you bring Lana back. That's a tailor-made opponent for Cody. Right after Wrestlepalooza wrapped, Sam Roberts spotted a quiet sign that the American Nightmare might be sliding toward villain territory soon. On the Wrestlepalooza recap show on WWE's YouTube channel, Sam Roberts pointed it out. Cody didn't break any rules, but the way that he played Drew and played with Drew's vulnerabilities. It's not to say Drew didn't deserve it, but there is something that's a little less shiny and nice about the way Cody won this match than the way historically he has won matches. I don't mean this literally because he did win clean, but it wasn't as clean-cut of a Cody match as we're used to seeing. That's the difference. There's that little edge to Cody. For now, Cody Rhodes' path ahead in WWE stays wide open. Paul Heyman betrays Seth Rollins for Brock Lesnar. The spark between Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar's old hype man, Paul Heyman, has been electric these days, and the whole Vision plot has been a total hit. This rivalry has grabbed attention worldwide for months, and viewers have been hooked on every twist. Even though Heyman and Rollins have clicked great, there are clear clues that a huge shift is coming. The WWE Hall of Famer might flip sides and stab his current boss in the back to team up again with the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, as his advocate. Here are some key signs pointing to that wild betrayal. Since Brock Lesnar stormed back at SummerSlam, he's owned the spotlight. The Beast incarnate just crushed John Cena in a one-on-one beatdown at Wrestlepalooza, squashing the franchise player in a way that shocked everyone. Lesnar stands as one of the nastiest heels out there right now, and with Cena in the rear view, he's likely eyeing fresh fights. Maybe even for the World Championship. That means he needs his advocate by his side. This could be the spark that pulls Paul Heyman back to Lesnar, igniting a brutal war with Seth Rollins and his world title on the line. WWE Wrestlepalooza threw down one of the biggest clashes between two all-time greats, reminding crowds of epic past battles and moments. Beyond the wild history between Cena and Lesnar, WWE tossed in a nostalgic punch too. Paul Heyman popped up out of nowhere to roll out Lesnar, just like in his old advocate days with the Beast, and it blew up everywhere. This move feels like the start of a massive flip Heyman might pull soon. This week's WWE Raw had Paul Heyman right in the middle of Seth Rollins' face-off with Cody Rhodes before their crown jewel showdown. But after that heated bit, Byron Saxton grabbed Heyman for a quick chat, asking the Hall of Famer about his tie-up with Brock Lesnar after that huge intro at Wrestlepalooza. Instead of spilling, Heyman dodged hard, shifting straight to crown jewel talk and the Rhodes-Rollins clash, staying slippery on his Beast link. This sidestep ranks as one of the strongest clues that Heyman's gearing up to turn on Rollins any day now. We'll see soon what WWE unleashes for these stars next.